This is kind of like the never-ending story because over the last few weeks, we have talked a lot about the alleged CEO shooter, Luigi Mangione. We have covered his nationwide manhunt. We covered his arrest, subsequent arraignment, all the drama around that. We covered his social media history, his apparent political ideology. And I've got to be honest with you, reporting on this story has really opened my eyes in certain ways. Listening to you all talk about your experiences with the healthcare industry has really been remarkable. And of course, none of you have endorsed Mangione's alleged actions. We all agree that murder is wrong, period. That's end of story, end of sentence. But not the end of story, okay? Many of you have, however, expressed some degree of understanding for how Mangione could find himself in a place that was so desperate that he would take that drastic action. The consensus among average Americans from all across the political spectrum, from the left, from the right, from the center, libertarians, is like, look, if he did what prosecutors allege, then he needs to go to prison, but I kind of get it. So one of the things that I want to explore on this channel this coming year is I want to explore the stories that highlight inequality in America, because hopefully in doing so, we can take the first step in addressing that inequality, okay? And down the line, maybe that will lead to fewer Luigi Mangiones or stories like that. Sunlight is the best disinfectant after all. And with all that said, I'd like to introduce you to a young woman, and her name is Alexis Scott Wyndham. Alexis and her friends spent New Year's Eve on Bourbon Street in New Orleans in the French Quarter, having a good time, apparently. They danced, they enjoyed a few drinks, they celebrated another year on this earth, around the sun, okay? Well, the group had reached their final stop of the evening, which was a pizza restaurant, and they needed to use the restroom there. So while standing outside of this pizza parlor, they were standing on the sidewalk, just kind of waiting, right, for everybody to go to the bathroom. Alexis heard the sound of a speeding car. She looked to her left, and she saw a white pickup truck barreling toward her with its headlights turned off, already running people over. Can you imagine?
We heard something go boom, 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 and people were screaming, and I looked to the left, and a truck was coming down like the street, and he was halfway on the sidewalk too. He was just running people over like it was nothing.
Wow. Well, Alexis tried to jump away, but she didn't have enough time to escape. The truck ran her over, but unbelievable. Can you believe it? Fortunately, she survived. But that's when the gunshots began to ring out. Alexis found the strength to stand up, but that's when she saw blood coming from her body. Alexis had been shot. So you see, Alexis was among the dozens injured in that alleged terrorist attack that killed 13 others. Police say 42-year-old Shamsud Din Jabbar plowed his pickup truck through the crowds on that street just after 3 a.m., crashing the vehicle and then opening fire with a rifle. Alexis literally saw bodies fall to the ground after she was hit by Jabbar's pickup truck. She recalls only being able to think at the time that she needed to survive. She needed to make it home to her one-year-old daughter. Her one-year-old daughter is named Sky. Fortunately, Alexis did survive. She got to make it home to her daughter. But that is not the end of this story. After waiting for hours for treatment at the hospital, with a bullet still lodged in her foot, Alexis learned that Amazon, the Amazon warehouse where she works, denied her request for a leave of absence. Now, can you imagine all of that in this time where people are, going against organized labor unions, etc.? This woman who was shot and run over by an alleged terrorist was refused time off to recover. Think about that. As you might imagine, Alexis' story went viral on social media, so much so that Amazon announced that it would reverse its decision, granting her a paid leave of absence. But there is something still deeply disturbing, dystopian about this whole story. No?
The thing I need everyone to understand is that the workplace as it exists in America in 2025 is incredibly transactional. They do not actually care about you as an individual and as a human. What your employer cares about is what your labor is able to produce and do for them, how much money you are able to make for them. But it is a reminder that the vast majority of the systems and processes in our workplace are not particularly human. If something happens to you and you can no longer do your job, A new requisition is going to automatically be created, and they are going to automatically post that job and start hiring for your position. The people making that decision, the recruiter working on that role, may not even have context around what happened to you. They're just going to move on with their lives and do their job of filling roles. If your workplace does happen to treat you well and you feel very taken care of at work, like I do in my workplace, I still understand that that is ultimately a means to an end. That is a function of me delivering results for my company. And if I stop doing that, then it's not going to feel so human anymore. I think the more that we can understand this about the modern workplace, the easier it actually becomes to navigate it and to take care of yourself, because you have to realize that your company will always take care of itself. If a better opportunity comes along, you should take it. You don't need to have this immense level of guilt for your employer, because the reality is that if you being there is no longer serving them, they are going to cut you loose and they're not really going to look back.
You know, in many ways, capitalism has served America well. It's made it the richest and most powerful country in the world, but it does have its excesses, its issues. How else do you explain a company denying time off to a woman shot in the midst of a terror attack? How else do you explain that company only reversed course after public outcry? Imagine if there was no social media, right? Imagine if there was no outcry. I'm glad Alexis is now getting what she so clearly deserves, right? Decency. But there's a lesson here. When you stop treating people like humans, they may be tempted to start acting inhumane or inhuman. If we want fewer Luigi Mangionis in the world, we need to make this world a kinder, more compassionate world. We need to respect everyone, including workers. What do you think? Am I wrong to see a through line between these two stories? And especially what's happening with all of the rich guys in power, the oligarchs, they're calling them, the billionaires. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it's okay now that Amazon reversed it? Are you okay with our healthcare system? Especially our health insurance system? I want to know what you think. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.